Hi, everyone. My name is Katie Cleary, and I'm a program manager at Magic. And I am so excited because today I have with me one of our lovely mentee mentor pairs from SKA. And we're here to talk about their 2024-2025 Magic session and the project that they worked on together. So we'll go ahead and get started by having them introduce themselves. Hadassa, if you could kick us off.
Hi, I'm Hadassa, and I was a senior at SKA, and I really enjoyed my magic experience.
And Aliza, if you could also introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Aliza. I have a master's in bioinformatics and I worked in science research at NYU, using deep and machine learning to analyze medical images.
All right. Wonderful. Well, thank you both so much for taking the time to interview with me. I'm so excited to learn more about what it was like to work together. You both should just be so proud of yourselves for your work together and the amazing presentation you had last week. It was absolutely wonderful. And so, Hadassah, can you just tell us a little bit about your project and what made you choose that as your area of focus?
So I feel like a topic that kept coming up in my community was people using Ozempic. So I wanted to
Mhm.
understand more about the mechanism of how it works and just to know more about it. So I decided to do some research about Ozempic itself. And then Elisa suggested in order to try a new skill and to create a project to learn how to code using Python Code Academy to do data analysis on a data set about diabetes. So that was my project.
Wonderful. And can you tell us maybe like a few takeaways of things that you learned, whether it was about Ozempic as a weight loss drug, diabetes, or the data analysis itself?
So I learned about I learned a little bit about type 1 and type 2 diabetes and how Ozempic's mostly used for type 2, about how Ozempic works through being a GLP-1 agonist, how it mimics the GLP-1 hormone and causes a person not to feel hungry because it slowed gastric emptying. So that part was very interesting. But also learning how to code was just something I didn't have experience with before. I learned how to use Python and different libraries that I used for coding. So that part was very interesting as well, how to make all these different graphs and things that I never imagined I could create.
Yeah. Wonderful. Well, is there an area that you have more interest in over the other now that you've completed the project of doing data analysis or doing biology or medical research, or is it kind of a toss up between the two?
I think it was very exciting to try something new with the whole codings, and I think I'd want to try doing more, learning more about it because I really did enjoy that part. Something I didn't have
Yeah,
experience with.
yeah, that's wonderful. And you mentioned that you're a 12th grader, so congratulations. The season of graduation is upon us. I'm sure you have a countdown. Um, so as you are looking towards next steps, do you think that your time in magic has, um, either narrowed your focus a little bit or made you kind of change what direction you want to go in as you look forward to the future? Excuse me.
I still think I want to do something in the medicine related field, but I think I'd be interested in trying like a computers related class in college, which I definitely wouldn't have considered that at the beginning of the year, but now I think I would like to try.
Yes, all those lovely electives that they have everyone take, but it makes us all well-rounded humans. So you can definitely add that to your elective list. That's wonderful. Um, and Aliza, a lot of times when people hear about programs such as ours, they always focus on, oh, what the mentee is going to learn from the mentor. But can you share a few things that you learned from Hadassah, whether it was through the project itself or just her way in tackling tasks, things like that?
For sure. I guess something that we always struggle with in life, or I always struggled with life, is like self-motivation. And I feel like from not just this project, but actually just speaking to Adasa in general about her experience in SK and everything, that she's really like a very self-motivated student. And that was very inspiring. And I definitely learned a lot from that.
Mhm.
Um, and also just she really like attacked everything with an open mind, like came at everything with an open mind, which is also amazing. Sometimes it can be hard to be open to new experiences, new ideas. So that was also really cool to see.
Wonderful. And can you talk a bit about, what drew you to sign up as a mentor for Magic and, um, just things that you've gotten out of the experience?
For sure. So Dr. Glatt advertised specifically to mentor SKA students, and as a former SKA student who ended up going into STEM, I thought that like this was a really cool opportunity to participate as a mentor and to give back to the school that really ended up shaping what I ended up doing further in college and beyond. And things I took away from this experience, I'm trying to think. I definitely took a lot of like from Hadassa and how she approached the project, and I learned I have been in a mentor role before, but never in something academic. So that was very interesting to kind of see where I can fill in for Hadassah, where she needed guidance, but also where to step back and just let her do her thing. So yeah, that was something I definitely navigated as we went through the project.
Mhm. Yeah, it's you touched on, the thing that's very special about SKA's Magic program is that we we have all of the SKA students be mentored by women who not only are in STEM fields, but also are members of the SKA community, whether it's because, like you, they're SKA alum, or we have some SKA parents mentor. And so, Hadassah, for you, has that, can you touch on, how that feels having SKA community members come back and mentor current students?
I really like that aspect. So it doesn't even feel so foreign, even though I never met Aliza before.
Hmm.
Um, it's like feels like my mother even is a teacher at my school, and like
Hmm.
Aliza had my mother as a student, like as a teacher that day. So it's just like cool to see that it's kind of like your community is pitching in, and like you feel more of a connection, I think.
Yes, yeah, and that really is what magic, that's really what we try to um, give each other is that like um, we're all gonna only get through life together, right? And pooling resources and sharing knowledge, that's really what makes the world go round. And so the fact that SKA has the extra layer of community in terms of it's all SKA community members and not just, but women in STEM is so special. And so um, that's one of the reasons I love working with SKA. And so, Hadassah, one last question for you. So think back to the beginning of the year, or maybe the last few years you had heard of magic through school, and if it's either a friend of yours or maybe a new student at SKA who is interested in applying, but they're not quite sure, like what's a piece of advice that you would give them, or maybe a little bit of encouragement to get them to apply to magic?
I would definitely mention how amazing it is to like get to speak to a member who's part of your community in some sense and like create a connection with them, and like you can speak about them not only about the project but in other ways and about other topics, but also it's a way to anything you're interested in. I feel like you can find a way to incorporate that into magic, as we saw like some people they create prosthetics, all these different things that you can find a way to think like things you really love and also try something new, create a new connection. So it's a very cool opportunity.
Mhm. Wonderful. I totally agree. And then, Aliza, can you also share about, maybe a coworker or a friend of yours is interested in mentoring, but they're not quite sure. What would you tell them to hit submit on that application?
I think it's just a really cool opportunity to give back as a woman in STEM to future women in STEM. It's definitely, I think when I was looking at doing this program as a mentor, I thought about, well, how would I feel if I had done this as a mentee? And I had a mentor who was a woman in STEM already in the field, helping me on a small scale project, let's say, and really being there for me for a long period of time, and having that support. And I thought that would have been a really cool experience. And I was in the unique position of providing that experience to someone. So I guess I guess emphasize that. And it's a pretty cool feeling. When Hadassa presented last Wednesday, I was just so proud. It was just amazing to see her progress throughout the whole project and to see it all come together. So that was a great feeling. And so I definitely would emphasize those points and hopefully get more women interested in doing this as mentors.
Yeah. Wonderful. Well, I hope that the cool feeling continues, that proud feeling. You both should definitely, feel pride in all the effort and energy you put into your project all throughout the session and then into the presentation. Uh, you know, it was just such a wonderful presentation, and I loved learning from your research on Ozempic and data analysis. So thank you both so much for taking the time to sit down and chat with me. And I hope you have a great rest of the school year, Hadassa.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.